The United States of America was once a white Christian conservative country. This sounds almost crazy to say today, but it's true. And it wasn't even all that long ago. We go back 60 years, 70 years ish from today, and you're at that point. You have Christianity is widespread, families are still put together. There we have a white Christian majority. Everyone goes to church, everyone reads their Bible. If anybody brought up a satanic ideal, they would be kicked out of their town, run out, would never find any work. And the true goes for like communism. If you were an open communist, good luck doing anything in life. But now we have a complete reversal of that. The communists have taken over. It's like these gay black communists came in and took over our country. And I know that sounds kind of racist. And I know it'll turn a lot of conservatives off to this ideal. But here's the thing. You have to keep a culture. You have to have a united people, and different races have different cultures. So when you have all this race mixing going on, and I don't mean like race mixing in the term of like, procreating with, two different races getting mixed together. I mean race mixing as like a country, as a colony, I guess you could say. Our group, our tribe has been combined with other tribes. And that's not necessarily a bad thing if they assimilate. If we have a good assimilation going on, it works fine. They end up like us. They come into our country and end up like us. And then you still have a group of people that can still function together in a proper normal society. And that's pretty much what we had all that time ago. People, if you came into this country and you didn't act American, you were going to have some issues. You weren't going to be treated well. You weren't going to be treated like an American because you didn't act like an American. There's a certain civil responsibility each one of us had to each other. But now that's being taken away, and it's no longer expected that you act American to be in America. It's being swallowed, that whole idea. It's vanishing into thin air. And it's incredibly unfortunate to see because what it's resulting in is a generation like me where, we are the white Christian conservatives and we no longer have a home. Europe is being destroyed by the exact same thing. It's almost worse in Europe than it is in America. So Europe's being destroyed and America's being destroyed. Canada's being destroyed, Australia. All of our homelands are being taken and stripped from us. It's not by accident. It's targeted. This isn't a targeted attack. We are being invaded by people of different cultures. We got taken over by people of different cultures, right? We got bought out and we sold our country away. And now we have to bring in all these people that aren't like us. And again, when there's assimilation, that can be okay. You can have people from other countries come in here. We can have Mexicans come in here, assimilate, and become American. And then the generations after them become American as well. You can have people from Africa come here, become American, assimilate, and then their future generations will be American. And this is why Asians were so successful in this country. They assimilated better than any other race. Asians became American, and the Asians that actually became American became extremely successful because that's what was expected. You became American and success followed. If you just acted in your civil way, you followed the way that you were expected to behave in this country. But with that expectation gone, because we allowed all these groups to come in here that don't have the same culture as us, our natural expectations were stolen. They were ripped away. People are behaving in ways that is not civilized, to be completely honest with you. It's uncivilized actions. I mean, go on to any platform, any platform that shares any news. And you can see these people are not acting civil in any way, shape, or form. And it's a legitimate outbreak. It's a legitimate problem. And the more we allow our identity to be ripped away from us, the more we're going to see this. Our country is devolving into a third world nation because we brought in people that are culturally from a third world country. So no matter where you put them, they're still going to act like it's the third world. And they're not going to have the same civil duties and expectations as us. They're not used to it. And then those that are born here but raised by those who don't have the same civil duties, the same reasoning, the same mental process as us, they're going to end up also living like they're in a third world country. Why do you think Detroit has so much crime? Why do you think Atlanta has so much crime? Why do you think all these areas with large minority groups have so much crime? It is incredibly simple. It's because these large minority groups are treating our nation like it's the third world, and they are actively trying to make it more like the third world. That's why they vote in these politicians who have third world policies. They vote in these politicians that are willing to destroy the majority because that's how the minority gets power. The minority wants us to live in their culture. All right. Everybody wants their culture to be the dominant culture. Everybody. I mean, that goes for me, that goes for you, that goes for everybody you know. It's best to live when you have the dominant culture. That's when you're going to be happiest, most fulfilled. That's when your life is going to be the best. So everybody wants their culture to be the dominant culture. So these people are trying to make it so their culture dominates over ours. That's why our history is being stolen away from us. Look at these Confederate statues. They're being ripped down. Why are they being ripped down? Because they represent the American spirit. They represent American history. They hate you. They hate your history because it is preventing their culture from becoming dominant. They want to keep importing people from these third world nations because it slowly is eating away at the majority. And again, these minority groups, they hate you. They actually hate you. I mean, you can look at plenty of studies on this. There's plenty of polling out there that is like, is it okay to hate white people? And, the majority oftentimes, especially when you're asking minorities, but it's even true for white people as well. We hate ourselves. But all these groups, they all think either you can't be racist towards white people, it's not okay to be white, you can hate us, you can commit crimes towards us, and it's okay. We saw this in Nashville, the Nashville shooting. That is the representation of a culture that thinks it's okay to hate white people. They didn't release that girl's manifesto because it was talking about how much she hated white people. She was white herself, but this is what the brainwashing does. You're raised in a culture where you're taught that your culture is evil, and you're eventually going to start hating it. And that's exactly what we have there. We have a girl who is raised in this system, raised by this culture, and then goes and shoots up a school full of little white kids because she hates us. And that's legitimately becoming a threat nowadays. White people have to be worried that they're going to be targeted. And it happens in all kinds of these large cities all the time. Again, Detroit, Atlanta, those types of places. It's not uncommon for race targeted crime. It's not uncommon for people to see a white person and kill them because they're white. And that's what's going on here. That is exactly what's going on in our nation. It's a direct attack on white people for the sin of being the majority culture. They don't like it because it stops their culture from taking over. Which I mean, that's not even an attack on them. That is completely understandable. I expect you to be fighting to make your culture the dominant one. Because again, that's when your life is the best. But we also have to recognize that if we want our culture to stay, if we want to live in a civilized first world country, we got to stop bringing these people in. We got to stop accepting people that hate us. And we have to force assimilation to some extent. I don't exactly know the details on how we would do that necessarily, but that has to be an expectation. I mean, the way I would probably go about it off the top of my head here is, just promote Americanism, Americana in schools. Teach more about our history and don't stop teaching about all the crappy parts about our history too. Like all we learn in school is about how we're a racist country, how we're an evil country, all the wrongs we've done, how our culture is evil, and how it needs to be taken care of. And that's how you end up with white people hating themselves because that's what they're taught in schools. No, instead, what you do is teach, we teach the Bible, bring Christianity back. You teach the Bible, you teach Americana, you teach about our heroes. That's how you make people love their country, love their heritage. And that's how you get people that are coming in here to act American because it's something to reach for. Right now, they believe it's something to be ashamed of. A lot of these people do not want to be American. And that's why, you see a lot of people of Hispanic heritage. They'll wear, the Mexican flag, they'll fly the Mexican flag. Fly the Cuban flag. Fly, if some of the Muslims, fly a Palestinian flag. Jews fly an Israeli flag. They all put those nations before their own because, there's a few reasons because they do that. One, because they're ashamed to be American. Two, because those countries actually have a heritage that tries to represent itself in a positive way. There's actually a reason to, there's something they can connect with there. These people would rather be with their people, which again, it's understandable. It's expected. This isn't an attack on these people. This isn't being like, oh, these minority groups are bad people because oh, they want to be with their people. No, that's understandable. That is completely expected, but we need to recognize that and start behaving like these people are going to try to become the dominant culture because that's what everybody does. That's what every single group will always do, or all of history. And we can solve this by, not letting hundreds of people, not hundreds, millions of people through our border every month. Hundreds of thousands every month, millions over the years. It's awful. It's a legitimate invasion. We're just allowing it to happen because they're trying to destroy our country. They're trying to destroy your heritage. They want you to forget about it. They want to strip it away from you. They hate you. They hate your nation. They're trying to make your own people hate themselves. They're trying to make us depressed. They're trying to make us feel lonely, isolated. They're doing a pretty damn good job at it. They have successfully destroyed America. I mean, we're very close to the end here. Secession is starting to seem very like a very positive outlook on things. And we used to understand this. We used to understand this cultural thing when America was created. It was expected that if you were going to live here, you had to be American. Because if you have a culture that's not American, they're going to revolt. Whether that's a cultural revolution where they push against the prominent culture and insert their own, or a violent revolution. And, we that's that's something we saw before, with the Civil War. We saw that violent revolution. We saw it from the North attacking the South, attacking Americana. And, with the taxes they were pushing on them. It was because the North was mostly immigrants, right? The North was immigrants, and it was an attack on America. So they attacked the South, they attacked their culture, and created a civil war and won. And since then, we've just been slowly degrading American values. We've been slowly pushing them back every single year. But yeah, living in a country that hates you, it's tough, and it's going to result in another civil war. To be completely honest with you, because young men, I mean, actually, it depends on a few things. Obviously, we have so much comfort with our phone screens, with our electronics. We have so many distractions, so many drugs that are so easy to access. The young men are weak, they're feminine. It's totally possible they just don't revolt. But I mean, men like me, right? Young men like me. I know there's plenty of us out there. I know everybody listening this far into the video is somewhat like me. You're angry, you want to push back, and there's going to be a consequence to that, and eventually there's going to be an outbreak. And, every time young men of a nation start to feel disconnected, they will end up revolting. And it's going to happen. It's probably going to be bloody. And I don't know if we're going to win or not. We'll see. We'll have to see. But yeah, I'm probably going to wrap up the video on that note, though. So yeah, if you enjoyed, like, subscribe, share the video. This is a message we need to get out there. So yeah, like, subscribe. That's how we do it. Brand new channel, obviously. Old channel, shadow banned. So we made a new one. That way we could kind of get around the algorithm a little bit, beat it a little more because I was just demotivated with the last one. Need to start new, start fresh. So yeah, we're here now. It's very epic. It's very true. So yeah, start pushing back. And yeah, again, this isn't a call to be racist or anything. That's not what this is at all. Plenty of people, plenty of not color. Okay, that sounds racist. Um, Plenty of Black Americans, plenty Hispanic Americans, plenty Asian Americans. They're all they're all Americans, and that's okay because they're part of our culture. They're part of Americana. They're part of our history, and that's great. That is completely great. Problem is we allowed too many people to come here without actually adopting the culture, and that's why we are where we are today. And we need to push back against that. And because the only way we can save this country is by regaining the culture. Because the culture sucks right now. But yeah, like I said, I'm gonna wrap up the video on that note. So if you enjoyed, like, subscribe, share the video. But again, I'm heading out, so long. Peace out, and God bless y'all.